everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster run in Inverted Spire Battleground with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using Night Stalker. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using in this video. For my kinetic, I am using Lost Signal with One for All and all loading holster, Guardians. Alright, joke aside. Next, I'll be using the scout rifle from the dungeon. And for my heavy, I'll be using Anarchy. I decided to go for the Void subclass with a non-prismatic build, and it is probably the worst experience I ever had for this GM because it was an absolute yikes. Without spamming abilities, without chaining with the super, then going back to Transcendence, then going back to super again with your weapons. It is completely yikes. Now, first of all, they did the Inverted Spire. They did a rework of Inverted Spire. I don't really like it because now Inverted Spire is a battleground, mini battleground. And they didn't really touch the boss too much, but they did add a bunch of, well, probably, you know, one little bang there, but still it is a nuisance. And now we have overload champions instead of unstoppable champions. There is 3 of them, and I took one of them down. Now we're going to take down the next overload champion. I am using Lost Signal for this week and a scout rifle that you can get from the dungeon. I did try to craft this scout rifle, but it just was kind of awkward, kind of weird to deal with the Harpies. So once we take down 2 of the overload champions, well, overall 3, I'm going to go and scan this, and then I'm going to wait for which RNG Hydra I'm going to be spamming Anarchy. And yes, I am using Anarchy for this build, and the reason why I'm using Anarchy is this subclass is a yikes of going platinum rank. And I need a very strong exotic to make this run work, or it's just gonna be a really slow run basically. So I did took down one of the Hydras, and now I'm gonna go to the opposite direction to deal with the next Hydra. You can also take down the 2 boxes from the back, but I honestly will do that later. Everyone has their own little method. We are using the Sparrow or the hoverboard. And now we're gonna go deal with the Hydra. I mean, isn't this fantastic? The rework is going great. I absolutely hate it. And now I even forgot to mention about the Haze. So they added a new mod called the Haze. So last week was the, if I remember, Obsolation. And this week is the Haze, and it's similar as the old Nightfalls. You know, Grandmasters didn't exist, champions didn't exist. Can you believe that, right? And this is more of a similar mod from Supplicant's song called Momentum. And Momentum was a bit better, well, easier to deal with than the Haze. And now we're going to be doing a skip. Yes, I'm going to be skipping champions, and we're still going to get platinum rank. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I just can't bother myself dealing with this battleground Inverted Spire rework. I mean, they added so many champions, you know, copy and paste, you know, like Photoshop. You know, you do a little trim, you know, make it into a file, and then you just copy and paste. You just add more champions. That's basically what happened for this GM. So there are going to be a couple of lasers. I'm going to be just going through the lasers. So fun fact, the lasers can't one-shot you. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, remember Battlegrounds and Mars? Remember that? It can one-shot you. All that work after the ghost scan. Yeah, they probably nerfed it for this GM. Now this is going to be a little bit different than the old version. So the new version, now we got 2 barrier champions. We got 2 of the snipers we need to take down. And right now I'm just trying to not get hurt from the Haze mod. So I am moving around left and right. Sometimes you still need to run so the Haze mod, you won't get the danger, and then your health's gonna get damaged. Pretty annoying. But usually what I do is when I get that, when the Haze does decide to hurt my guardian, I just walk around in circles instead of running. And sometimes I do run here and there just to regain my health, but sometimes when I'm just focusing on a champion and I don't feel like running, you know, like pretty sure in LFG, you know, the fact they're trying to take down champions and then they hey, I gotta run. I mean, my health is kind of draining here, you know? So during this, I'm going to be using tether and try to get my tether back so I can deal with the overload champions and the snipers, well, the goblins. So once I take down the overload champion, I'm going to take down a couple of the snipers or the hobgoblins. They're going to be fun, right? I am also trying to get my tether as well while taking down all these ads. So I did clear the ads a little bit too fast, in my honest opinion. So now I'm going to try to take down a couple of Vex ads. That way I can try to get my super and to deal with overload champions, because there's two of them in the back. So once I do get my super, I'm going to turn invisible just in case these snipers try to one-shot me, because sometimes two of them shoot you at the same time. I'm going to be using the lost signal with Anarchy, throw a nade or a grenade to do DPS. So later on there will be a bunch of harpies that will spawn. Highly recommend to take them down because they like to shoot the void when you are trying to do DPS at the overload champions. So eventually they do spawn. There's 3 of them. They're pretty glitchy. I mean, sometimes both of them spawn in front of me. Sometimes they just go all the way from the back. Like there. You see that? Proof that this rework Inverted Spire is so bungy. It's very bungied, okay? It's very buggy. I'm not sure why they wanted to rework this Inverted Spire. I mean, recycle content, you know, Sonic 06 vibes, you know, rehash. The nickname is rehashing Grandmasters to make it into a new content, but it's just recycled content. I don't really like what they did with my poor favorite Inverted Spire. And of course, I got a Bang, a Riven that can drain you. Great. Perfect luck, right? Next thing I'm going to be seeing is a Meteor Riven. I mean, wouldn't that be fantastic? So I am using my tether to do more damage, to deal with these Harpies, to do more damage with the Rivens. So bear with me here because I only can use my super. I can't really use my transcendence here. I mean, yes, it would make things easier. For this run, it's going to be a little bit complicated. So once I clear the ads, I'm not going to shoot the box. You can actually skip it and still get platinum rank. Now I am going to get a couple of heavy bricks because I ran out of Anarchy and some of the grenade launcher, so I'm going to pick it up and then just skip the barrier champion because I honestly cannot bother myself dealing with him. Plus I can get platinum rank, so that's the good news. So just ignore him, or you can use him as cover and then just ignore and then just move to the next objective. And the objective is press forward, so make sure you just ignore. And on the old version, there was supposed to be a barrier champion there, but it's gone. right? So now we're going to deal with 2 snipers. And they're pretty glitchy. I mean, why not? Why not take away a champion and then have more glitchy snipers? I mean, isn't that more challenging or more fun? Dealing with glitchy enemies here and there, sometimes champions. Great. Perfect. Now I'm gonna go jump to the roof, but honestly, I missed my jump, so I'm going for plan B. Alright, bear with me. I was doing this solo at 3 a.m. in the morning, so I was really tired when I was trying to get this run done. So now I'm gonna deal with the barrier champion. You can actually stand here and just make sure you walk a circle while doing DPS at the champion. And I am crouch, so make sure you crouch, move around a circle when the haze is telling you that it's going to drain your health or damage your guardian. Like you see here, danger, keep moving. And basically for me, in my translation, it's either you need to run, or if you are too busy, you know, walk around in the circle. Just walk in circles while doing DPS. So that's why my guardian right now looks extremely silly, but it works. It stops the haze mod to not drain your health by just walking in circle. Or if you are crouching, you could also do that. But anyway, for me, it seems to be working, especially when trying to do DPS with bigger champions or overload champions. Sometimes, not really. I usually just jump. So this is going to be the area where we have to take down 2 of the overload champions. I mean, if you want to get platinum. Well, basically you have to anyway to take down these overload champions. And then once we take them down, then we have to break the crystal, and it's forcing you, well, it's asking you to use a tank to clear down the ads. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do a mini skip. We're going to save time. You don't have to turn invisible here. I just did it for giggles. I mean, why not turn invisible here just for fun? So I am going to be hovering or sparrowing or hoverboard my way. I'm going to press the circle button for the PlayStation controller. And there's going to be the Cyclops. So usually you go on your tank, you clear these ads. They're annoying. It takes a long time, 5 minutes of your life. But I'm just going to take 2 minutes of my life, hopefully. So I am going to be spamming Anarchy. I would just use 2. I don't know why I used 3. I mean, bear with me. It was 3 a.m. in the morning. Alright, I was very sleepy. I shouldn't be, you know, it is not healthy of me even trying to get this done at 3 a.m. But I was just extremely busy, and I had a cold too, so I was trying to get better, and that's why I haven't uploaded a lot of videos. But great, Fireball no Jutsu, my predictions, my worst fear. I mean, I know I saw a Drainer, Riven, but a Fireball no Jutsu Riven? Are you kidding me? I really don't like these baits. I mean, they really need to nerf these guys. Now, the meteor isn't really a big threat. I just think it's very annoying. The drainer, they really need to nerf it. Like, people complain about GMs being too easy or too hard. How about people should be complaining about the drainer bane and the healer? You know, they kind of need to nerf them. They're a bit too powerful in my honest opinion, and they're pretty annoying. So once we take down the 2 Ravens, and of course the Cyclops, first take down the Cyclops, then you move to this spot, well, behind, not on top. And then you take down the 2 Ravens, right? Now you can go deal with more champions, overload champions and barrier. What else could go wrong in this GM? But I did save 5 minutes of my life, so I am going to take down the sniper. Usually he's called a hobgoblin, but I'm going to call him the sniper since he does like to 2-shot me and likes to be a bungee. So I'm going to stand right here and deal with the overload champion. Now I am going to be jumping back and forth, and the reason why is the Minotaur from the back. He is extremely toxic. I know other videos you see, you know, he's harmless as a fly, but on this subclass without prismatic, he is a pain in the bungee. Trust me, Sometimes I get a lot of death because of that Minotaur. So I'm gonna use my tether. Why not use it? I will get my tether back, so it was no big deal. So always remember to take down this Minotaur. I mean, if you're on Titan Warlock, you know, it's a bit easier. I mean, you could just pop a healing rift. You could just go for your prismatic, hunt prismatic Titan to do your melee. Gosh, poor hunters this season. We're getting bullied. Poor hunter mains getting bullied, forced to use prismatic builds. You can also use Roman supers since they did buff the Roman supers. I was debating to use a Roman super for this week, but then, you know, Guardians requested me for Void Hunter, and I don't know, man. I think Void Hunters are kind of getting bullied this season. They're not that great. They are a pain to deal with on solo GMs this season. Very painful, especially going for tether. Alright, without prismatic. I mean, imagine if I did have prismatic with tether. I could have just used my tether, then switched to my transcendence. Oh, got my tether back. Then go to tether again. Transcendence, back and forth, back and forth. It would make life easier for this GM and it would have been way more faster. Not only that, I can also go for a subclass with a class exotic for the cape for the hunter as well. Anyway, I did took down the bigger champion and we are going to be capturing 3 of the plates. I'm going from the left side because the left side's really buggy for me. Sometimes they glitch, they just one-shot me. It's just a pain. So why not take down the first plate from the left side that is the most buggiest. So when capturing these plates, I did test this out. Can you turn invisible and capture the plate? The problem is it's similar like inside Terminus Nightfall, where if ads step on the plate, it goes red and you can't capture the plate. So they basically made this area kind of like a mini inside Terminus. It is a pretty Bungie move that they did this, and yes, the tether can sometimes make these explosive harpies be a pain, and thank the Bungie, I was extremely lucky of doing that dodge. See, these explosive harpies, the ones you see from the raid, from the dungeon, they're probably the most dangerous in this entire Nightfall. And I'll explain more about it later, about what they did to them, but for now, yes, take down the Overload champion. I did use my tether during the next wave or the second wave. I will say the first wave of ads. So once I capture the plate, I'm going to go to the next objective. Usually for this, you have to capture 3 of the plates. So we're going to go from the right side. I could go in the middle, but I thought to myself, why not just go on the right side? Now, I could use my tether here. Now, I did test this out, by the way, and sometimes I don't get my tether back for the next wave of ads. And I felt like I had to put Domino to make it work, but I really wanted to focus on an orb build. When, you know, using arc weapons, I get my orbs, right, for this build. So maybe I could have used a different mod to get my super back way more faster. But like I said, you can tether here, but you definitely need a different mod to get your super quicker if you want to go for that method. I did try Graviton. Graviton is good if you don't want to get platinum rank for this Nightfall. If you want to skip a bunch of champions, then by all means you can switch to Graviton. And with a different super, stronger super. But for this one, I decided to use Orpheus Rigs because I thought it'd be fun to use Orpheus Rigs. And I kind of needed to use it because I was having trouble with this one without it. You know, it was just a pain. I mean, look at this. I'm on red health right now. just because I'm trying to use lost signal, and I use my tether, right? And you can see that the tether is really good, but it's just not strong enough. It's still not good enough. You know, you could just switch to prismatic with the tether for the hunter, and you can do way more ability spam and way more damage than this subclass, in my honest opinion. You can also go for a cryo build as well to make this work. Way more efficient and faster. So now I'm going to be tethering, making a trap so I can deal with the bang. Or with the cabal, I don't remember 100%. Anyway, I decided to clear these ads first because they kinda are a bungee and they are annoying to deal with when they are not blind or suppressed. So make sure you use your grenade launcher and with the combo of the scout rifle and Anarchy. So once we take down the barrier champion, now we have to capture the next plate. Yeah, it just gets better and better. So when you do capture this plate, there's going to be 2 Hydras and a bunch of Harpies. Yeah, I know, this is really, it's fun, right? For you, but not for me. So I'm going to be circling around. That's the method I do to avoid getting the Haste mod to hurt me. You can also use your dodge as well, just to let everyone know if anyone's curious. So I'm going to be using my tether. I'm going to use my scout first so I can, you know, break the shields. For some reason I get my tether back more from breaking the shields. I don't know why, but hey, that's Hunter. That's the void super. It works, so I might as well take advantage of it. So I'm going to be using the scout, doing DPS, combo it with the lost signal. And then once we take down the first Hydra, now we're going to take down the next one. But first, let me get some orbs. You know, I would quickly take down the next Hydra, but I can't because I need my super. And if I was the prismatic hunter, you know, I would use my transcendence right now. But can't do that in the game right now with this subclass. So I have to farm orbs so I can get my tether. And then tether again to make life easier to deal with this Hydra. Because he likes to shoot a lot of void blasts. A lot of it. We're now on Warlock. We can't heal ourselves. We're now on Titan. We can't go for a melee build. Poor Hunter here. You know, gotta rely on my tether. Can't rely on my transcendence. I'm gonna be using my scout rifle. And then hopefully this will work out. Like, my goodness, he just won't cooperate. Once you take down the 2 Hydras, the other ads should despawn. And then we can go to our next objective. I'm just gathering some some energy. So the next one, well, I don't really like it, but it is going to be pretty annoying. So now we're going to be dealing with more ads, hobgoblins, and then we're going to be scanning at the bottom floor or the next mini room. And it's going to be a pain. So there's going to be a bunch of ads. And this is probably the perfect time to spam your transcendent and super. Yeah, about that. See, for this subclass, I have to rely on my tether and my grenade launcher weapons. So this is going to be pretty tricky, especially dealing with the champions, RG Bang, the explosive Harpies, which I will talk about very soon. Usually they spawn the next wave. They spawn 2 times from what I've been testing. And usually you can tether and then get your tether back. But for some reason, I wasn't getting my tether back for this run, which was unfortunate because I usually do get my tether back. I should have maybe tethered a little bit more. And now to deal with the explosive harpies. Now someone may say, why not just jump over them? Yeah, right. These explosive harpies run faster than a hunter. And they are for some reason more aggressive for this GM compared to a dungeon and compared to a raid. So for me, I just decided to just run, try to, hopefully they'll explode when they're near my character. And it was pretty annoying, especially with this bang in the way, bothering me. And then these explosive harpies just being a bungee. But you can see they run, they float so fast. And I was trying to see if I can use finisher, but you can't. I keep forgetting you can't use finisher on them. I mean, wouldn't that be nice? Imagine you can use finisher on these guys and it wouldn't be a problem. So now I'm trying to debate, should I use tether to deal with these ads? I was thinking about it, and usually for this run you can use a submachine gun to clear these ads more faster, but since I'm on Anarchy, I want to focus more on the boss because of this subclass. It's just a pain. So I just use Anarchy. So these harpies are going to be a pain because they're moving around. I have a champion on me. Let me see if I can take him down. Later on, I decided to just focus on taking down the harpies that are floating in the air. Decided to just climb up later on to deal with them because I was just losing my patience with them. And I just thought, why not just go with this rotation? Just take down these floating harpies one by one. I mean, for me, it was easier. I mean, I don't have my transcendence to deal with these ads, so I might as well just try to use my surroundings and make it work. And it was working for me. I mean, isn't this fun? Shooting harpies. Alright, next. Do. And then I shoot next one. And then, what's the funny part about this? There's gonna be another wave of harpies floating. And the explosive ones too. I mean, it just gets better and better. So once I take down the harpies that are in the sky, you could also use a sky rifle to take them down, but I just didn't have the patience for this run. I was really tired. You could take down the champions, you could take down the Bang Minotaur. The good news is that it's not the Drainer, because if it was the Drainer right now, he already would be tethering me, like right now where I'm standing. And you probably want to use your super right away to deal with them, or they're just going to take you back to orbit, basically. Now during this part, I would spam a bunch of transcendence to clear these ads, and I wanted to use my tether, so I was debating, should I use my tether, should I wait, because the last time I used my tether, it didn't work out. So hopefully maybe I'll get my tether back for this one. And then later on they weren't pushing. And then I realized I messed up my tether. I should have tethered a little bit more to the middle of the map. So my bad. Alright. So now I'm just trying to gather some heavy. Gather some orbs. Glitchy. Frantics. Everything's so glitchy here. Why can't I just put the old Inverted Spire version? I mean, this is like a mini Battlegrounds Inverted Spire. And yes, there is a heavy break there. I decided to just pick it up because I need some ammo to deal with these harpies. And these guys are going to be a pain. So now we're going to be dealing with these little dudes that can one-shot me. So this is going to be fun. I mean, imagine that. Being chased by these explosive harpies. And for some reason, they're way more aggressive than the dungeon Spire of the Watcher. And it's extremely bizarre. They do calm down when you do clear, I would say 80%. I would say if you clear around 70% of them, then they start to not be aggressive, and then you just stand in one place. They don't push. It's so bizarre. I don't understand why they buffed them. Maybe it's a bug. I'm not sure. But it is pretty unfair of them chasing you, and the fact that they're faster than a hunter. I think that's pretty unfair there. Alright? I mean, the only way I can think of is you could jump over them, but you need a certain fragment or, you know, a certain build so you can survive even if they explode on you. Or you have to use your roaming super to do DPS to clear them down so you won't get one shot. So now we're gonna just take down the harpies in the sky. For me, this method was just easier and it was pretty funny. I'm just shooting harpies. Alright, next. Anyway, we're almost done with this wave. I mean, honestly, I wish I could have tether in the middle like that. Like, why didn't I just do that at the last phase? And I'm still not getting my tether back. Even though that's a beautiful tether there, I'm not getting it back. And it's just unfortunate. And that's the problem with the Void subclass without prismatic. Don't have a backup to spam abilities to clear these ads down. And this objective is screaming spam abilities, spam abilities, spam abilities. And if you don't spam your Roman super or your abilities, you're pretty much bungeed in this objective. It is the truth. Honestly, I feel like this objective, the new one, is just too much. It's too much. It's too harsh. The fact that I have to spam abilities, I have to pop a transcendence and super back and forth to make this run more faster, especially for this one. It's just so unfair. I don't really like it. And because of that, I think I'm going to shoot the box and then just hover from the right side. Just for giggles. You know what? I've always wanted to go to this side. In all my Inverted Spire runs in the old version, you know, going through the rings, the timer, I've always wanted to go to this spot to deal with the champions. Also, the reason why I wanted to go to this spot is because the Overlord champion doesn't push. By the way, because of the lasers, and I thought it'd be pretty funny to deal with the Overlord champion from this area. So be aware of the snipers. There are 3 or 4 snipers if you do want to go to this spot. So they are glitchy as well. So make sure you take down the snipers if you see them. And then just do DPS at the Minotaur or the champion. I did mess up my grenade launcher, so my bad for that. So now I'm going to take down all these harpies. And yes, I could shoot the box. But then I heard a sniper. And I forgot about the barrier champion. So there is also a barrier champion. And he likes to snipe. But first, let me take down these harpies. You know, I'm going to take down the sniper later. So let me take them down. And then we're going to deal with the champion. And I thought, why not? So we're going to just do DPS from far distance. I mean, why not? I mean, we do have a nice loadout to do this method. So this hobgoblin can one-shot me, and it can't hide from me because this champion sometimes like to hide from you when you are doing DPS. Especially if you're taking way too much time, it will hide. And that was pretty annoying for me. So then I thought, why not go in this spot? Anyway, I am going to be jumping. You know, make sure I don't glitch this game, even though it is glitchy. And then I'm going to take down these trackers or these seekers. And then once we do that, we're going to deal with more Overlord champions. It just gets better and better. So make sure you take down the Harpies and then use your super. Use your super, use your heavy. Don't be afraid because there's gonna be a banner where you can get all your ammo back. So don't worry about saving your ammo because we're gonna be having a lot of them at the boss fight. So there is a Minotaur and then there's a Overlord Champion. So make sure you take down the Overlord Champion when it does push. I was trying to figure out if he was gonna back away, or he's gonna stand at that spot, or he's gonna get close to try to melee me. But so far he is cooperating. But then this guy here wasn't cooperating. He was just being super aggressive. So now we did took him down, which I was pretty happy. And now we get to go to the boss fight because there's no champion. So what you could do here is sparrow your way to the boss fight. Or you could just keep running. Because of the Haze mod, the ads can't really one-shot you. You just have to be careful of going to the path. Usually I just go in the middle. That's just me. You can also sparrow. So make sure you just run for your life. Your health will regain. It's basically like momentum. It's basically like momentum, the haze, in my honest opinion. I mean, it doesn't really bother me too much. What bothers me is the rework of Inverted Spire. I really don't like it. You know, it breaks my heart to see this, especially when this is the second GM. This is my second Nightfall solo ever when I was starting to do solos back in the day. My first Presage Nightfall was actually Io with the timer. And I remember I traded off with the boss and it was the best feeling ever. But anyway, we are gonna do DPS the boss. There is an RNG where he teleports, and of course there are harpies that will spawn. So if he teleports from the left side, then he's going to go from the left side, from the back. If he teleports from the right side, then you immediately have to go up to this platform because he's going to teleport from the back right side and try to stomp you or try to one-shot you. So be very careful with this boss. He has 2 spawns. And I am using Anarchy here, so might as well take advantage of it. I mean, bear with me. I'm just a void hunter for this week. Alright? My super is limited. Even with Orpheus Rigs, this GM is just a yikes without prismatic and without Roman super. Very yikes for this week for the hunter, unfortunately. I will revisit to do a warlock run, by the way. I just didn't have time and I had a cold. I didn't feel well. I still don't feel well. I'm actually surprised that I haven't coughed in this commentary. So now I'm going to do more DPS and we're going to go to the second plate. Fun fact, there is actually a cheese in this area, but because of the haze, I can't go to the cheese to make the second plate easier. Just to let everyone know, I was doing some testing. So if haze doesn't, next time, if I ever revisit this GM, and if there's no haze, I'll show off the cheese spot. This is going to be a pain in the bungee, because now we get to deal with the boss, and the rework for this boss a little different. So first of all, they buff his health. His health is now more tanky. Second, the spawns a tiny different, especially dealing with these snipers. So the biggest mistake here is I should have used my tether sooner. When the snipers spawn, because it could have tethered the boss, and I could have just used Anarchy. And I could just ignore the ads, you know, just use lost signal here and there because I felt like using my tether wasn't really worth it of the ad spawns, because if you look right now, I tether the ad spawns and I didn't get my super back. So it was a waste of time. I should have just tethered right away and I could have done more DPS at the boss. And yes, you know, I would have trouble with the ads, but the thing is, I would have done so much DPS before the ads spawn in. So that was probably the biggest mistake here. I should have just used my tether when the snipers spawn. So that's my bad. My mistake. But hey, now players will know to tether right away. Clear the snipers and then just Anarchy the bungee out of him. Do a lot of DPS with lost signal, or if you can switch to kinetic tremors, you know, anything you want. I know kinetic tremors would be better and faster. Yes, I understand. But I really wanted to try lost signal for this GM. But anyway, we did a lot of damage. I mean, more than what we're supposed to do. So now we're going to go to the next area. And I do highly recommend to use your Transcendence if you are going for prismatic. Or use your super. Because there is a bang and you can get bad luck. You can get a drainer. Unfortunately for me, I got the shield. So I was happy. Alright. I was extremely happy I got the shield. Because they're easier to deal with than the drainers. I mean, healers are annoying. Meteors are annoying too. But honestly, the worst is the drainer. And he could tether you from far distance. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't understand why players are not complaining about it. Like, please, can someone tweet at Bungie to tell them that the drainers need to be nerfed? Alright? Because people are complaining that the GMs are too easy, or they're complaining that it's too hard. Alright, what about the Drain Bane? They need to nerf it. Alright, it's too powerful. It's more powerful than a Hunter Tether. Like, can you believe that? Can you believe the Drainer's Tether is more longer than the official Tether from a Hunter? I mean, think about that. I mean, is that fair? Is that fair for you? No. They need to nerf it. It's ridiculous. Alright, now I'm sorry if I'm being so harsh. But so far, the Banes, I don't like them, especially the Drainer. I hate it. They're annoying. It's not challenging. It just ruins the fun. But anyway, we're going to do DPS at the boss. I'm just trying to, you know, poppy Anarchy, lost signal. Now, if I had a lot of Anarchy, I would have just spammed the bungee out of it right now. So you can actually use your lost signal and then combo with the sky rifle. Right now I'm just walking in circles, so the haze won't hurt my guardian. Later on I'm going to deal with floating harpies very soon, depending on the health of the boss. Now, one thing I was thinking, I wasn't sure because this was my first time at the boss fight with this loadout. I actually wanted to tether at the harpies from the sky. But then I thought about it and said, I think I'll just tether the ground on the explosive frantics. But anyway, you could try if you want to. I mean, if you really want to tether the harpies from the sky, you know, I wish you good luck. The thing is, if I miss, I miss. That was the problem with the tether and dealing with the harpies. I really wanted to try to tether them in the sky. I mean, look at them. They're floating around doing their little barrel roll. Alright? I mean, look at them. Absolutely hate them. Now, if I was using machine gun, I would have taken them already. Long time ago. But since I'm using Anarchy, and I'm just focusing on boss DPS, then the ad clear. They're going to take a while to deal with. So now there are 2 more harpies. I mean, please go away. I'm trying to do DPS at the boss and just get this run done and over it. There is a bunch of heavy at the electric pole of death, or the Pika electric pole. So make sure you use your Anarchy and then just use your scout, use your grenade launcher. I did have my tether. I'm going to wait for my tether for the next phase. So this phase is basically similar like the old version, same thing. Okay, maybe a little different at the last phase. I'm not used to the last phase, it's a bit different, and especially with the ad spawns, it's a little different too. So during this area, you can tether, and you can also deal with the harpies. So the boss doesn't really bother you too much during this phase. This is probably the easiest phase, in my honest opinion. The safest is this spot. And you can also jump to the other spot when the boss goes psychopathic mode. Alright, if you want to. Now, I was trying to focus on taking down the hobgoblin. I mean, yes, I could have just focused on the boss. So my bad for that. I just wanted to take down the goblin. He was kind of bothering me, and also I was sleepy. So I wasn't really paying attention too much to the boss. I just wanted to clear the ads so no one would comment say, Blitz, you kind of missed one next to the boss. I mean, why you did that? You know, silly comments like that can happen, right? Alright, joke aside, I'm just joking, but seriously, I was just trying to take down the hobgoblin so I can get some heavy. That was basically the main reason why I want to take him down. I was thinking maybe he'll give me some heavy bricks, but it didn't work out. He just gave me special, son of a bungee. How dare you? So now we're gonna go and do some DPS at the boss. I'm just looking for heavy, looking for special, you know, might as well just pick it up. Even though, you know, sad face for me, bad day for me. Alright, so now I'm going to be using Lost Signal. He's just going to stand there. He's going to go psychopathic mode very soon. Once he does, now we get to go to the best part. Now he's going to be walking around like a psychopath. We're going to clear down a bunch of ads from the backside and then a bunch of ads from the opposite direction from the middle of the map. So right now I'm just watching where the boss is going to be. So there is ad spawns from the left side. I was just trying to clear these frantics from behind me, but it wasn't working out. So I just said, you know, I'm just going to tether. Why not tether? Tether away and then just get this done. So now I'm going to try to Anarchy him, but the hitbox for some reason is harder to shoot with Anarchy. I'm not sure why. That is so bizarre. I never had this problem on the old version. So it was kind of hilarious that I was missing my Anarchy shots. And then finally the game decided to give me heavy. Wow, fantastic. But you know what? I'm just going to be happy with it and then just spam Anarchy, spam grenade launcher. And then hopefully I can cooperate and then just get this GM done. So basically this is the whole GM. I mean, you just go back and forth, you just use Anarchy. So overall, I despise the rework of Inverted Spire. I'm heartbroken. You know, it's like I had a relationship with this Inverted Spire and then it just, you know, it just cheated on me. It said, I like Battlegrounds more than you, Blitz. And then that's what happened. It turned into a Battlegrounds with Inverted Spire. And it just broke my heart. Thank you so much for watching. And we got Platinum rank for proof, by the way. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.